Hey y'all. Today we are going to be talking about the Becky Hill email dump. Becky Hill is the clerk of court of Colleton County, the court where Alex Murdaugh went on trial in, I think, January and February earlier this year, 2023, for the murders of his wife and son. And yesterday I did a live where I just started going through the very beginnings of the email dump. They're not organized or anything. They're just all over the place. They are in a strange order. These are just the emails from Becky's email address, her government work email address. It does not include the things that were sent to her, but it does include the chains on the emails, right? And so I have been spending a lot of time going over this and making notes on it. And so I thought that today we would just take a deeper dive into it. I would kind of summarize some of the things that I found and start to show you some of that. So if that's what you are here for, get ready. For anybody who doesn't know me, I'm McKinley Metasticizing here at Legally Live. I am a criminal defense attorney in Austin, Texas, and I do YouTube videos. So I hope you enjoy. So just some notes quickly, and I'm not sure if we're going to be able to get to all of these emails today, but I just wanted to kind of summarize some of the things that I have found. I know there's a lot more, and I'm writing notes on them on the actual email dump on the PDF, but I don't know if I'll have time today to show you all of them because it is Christmas Eve and I do want to go and hang out with my daughter. This was just too interesting to not cover. Again, this is from Fitz News. You can go to their website and find this email dump yourself. I don't remember where it is, but you will find it on their site. So some of the things that, some highlights so far today, or we might not see them today, but eventually I will be showing them to you. We see her scrambling to recall or to get back some sealed exhibits and other evidence from the trial, including body-worn camera footage from the officers at the scene that night that included images of the victims, as they were walking up to the scene, right? I think it was the first two officers on the scene. Those were apparently sealed during the trial and treated as sealed exhibits and were not supposed to ever be released. And at some point, she inadvertently releases them, it appears. And then after she attends a hearing with the defense attorneys and the state, and I guess the hearing is in regards to this released body-worn camera footage that is now appearing. So it appears that she released it to this guy named Mike Gasparo, and he works for the Cinemart. He's a producer, and he produced the Murdaugh Murders, a Southern Scandal docuseries that was on Netflix, right? It appears she released that information to him. He put it up on some website, I think, or maybe it was he put it into one of their promo videos or something. And you see an email where she's like, can you please take it down? If you don't take it down, the attorneys are going to have to get involved. That was supposed to be sealed. I didn't mean to send it to you. You said you weren't going to use that footage. Why is it up? So there's that. That's really bad. That's really not good. Really not good. She also, at a certain point here, okay, so she sends them to Netflix. She also sent them to other people. I don't know who else. I'll have to go through and specifically find this, but I know that it was more than just him. She also allowed Netflix access to the courthouse, and I believe it was Netflix. It might have been a different media outlet, but regardless, she is offering these media outlets access to a feature interview with her, right? So somebody wants to come and record inside the courthouse. Well, there's back and forth emails between she and her LLC that's helping her to do her PR. And the LLC happens to be her book partner, Neil Gordon's LLC, and Neil Gordon's wife. So messages between Michelle, Neil, and Becky about her needing to include an addendum in the location agreement or include verbiage in the location agreement specifying that in exchange for like an exclusive interview with Becky Hill and access to the courtroom, that they will in return play I think it was 5-second or 10-second, I don't remember the exacts, we'll look at it, but a certain amount of video footage of the cover of her book so that the Netflix audience can know that it is forthcoming, that the book is going to be produced, and then also an audio clip that goes along with it. Just, a promo. If they want to access the courthouse, they have to allow her to promote her book, right? And Neil and Michelle want that written into the contract, but Michelle points out at a certain point, I don't think that you should say it's in exchange for the location and I don't think you should use your name, Becky Hill, if that makes sense. So they realize that what they're doing is super sketch, super duper sketch. We'll also see that she spends a ridiculous amount of time placating different media outlets. I mean, and this starts before the trial, right? And it's she's making these connections. And I think that Murdaugh's lawyers have even accused her of this. And it appears that they are right on target with that. And I don't know how they knew that, because maybe they had access to these emails, but I don't think they did. But it's just crazy because they're 100% right. I mean, she was doing that. She was making these connections and sending them documents all throughout leading up to the trial. And she was really trying, there's press releases where she's forming this whole hoopla around this trial to make it really to seem as big and circus-like and just a huge production as she possibly can. And it makes sense if you think about it, because even earlier in November, I think, maybe it was December, but before the trial ever started, she was talking to a French journalist who was going to be coming in town because he's going to be writing a book on this case. And she tells him she's also thinking of writing a book. So she knows then that she's going to be writing a book. And I think she said in two other media outlets that she knew she was going to be writing the book as soon as she realized that it was being assigned to Colleton County. And it's clear that that's what's on her mind. She's trying to build this thing up as much as she can, because she probably believes that the more attention that it gets, the more money her book will make, right? The more in demand she might be. And so she's trying to make friends with all these different media outlets and definitely trying to be seen on camera. She has DreamWorks come in and video her sitting at her desk during the workday. And then if court's out in time, they're going to video her putting Buster Murdaugh's painting back up on the wall. Now, this is obviously after the trial, but putting the painting back up on the wall, because if you watch the trial, you know that they had to remove Buster Murdaugh's painting or picture, photograph, whatever it was, portrait from the wall during the trial, because, that was inappropriate to have Alec on trial while Buster's picture is hanging over the gallery. So she's going to be hanging that back up, which I just find really sick that she was going to be doing that for, cameras. But whatever, that's the least of the issues here. There are a lot of issues. So she also, she's giving out all kinds of exhibits and documents and anything to do with the case, but she is also hunting down things for people. There is a mention somewhere in here where somebody's we have reason to believe that this person was involved in the Stephen Smith case, and they're being held right now in the jail on some charges. Can you please send me the indictments? And she's like, yes. Oh, we knew something was going on with this. And yeah, that is probably why the bond is so high, feeding into this Stephen Smith narrative. She's also asking other journalists during the trial, actually before the trial even starts, about the different connections between Stephen Smith and Gloria Satterfield and those possibly being connected to the Murdaughs. Super inappropriate, I think. I could be wrong. Maybe that's totally allowed. And she is also She hunts down somebody's cell phone number, like the fire chief, I think, cell phone number, and releases it to the media. She releases it to that Mike Gasparo guy, but says, here's his cell phone. Please don't tell him where you got it, though. That's highly inappropriate. So she digs through all the records because, she's the clerk and she's the one that's in charge of the exhibits and the evidence at the trial, right? And like getting it all into the record. She abuses that power by then using her access to those items to go and do whatever she wants with them, like release them to these connections that she's made in the media that she thinks are going to, get her some kind of like financial gain, really. That's what it appears. Allegedly. Okay. Okay, so there's also she makes a mention somewhere in here. And again, this stuff, I'm going to be doing like short videos about all of this. I just like want to tell you kind of like some of the things that I have seen, but I'm going to be doing videos on this where we're going to actually go through the emails and I'll show you like specifically where I found these things. But she makes a mention of going to speak at a conference for girls. And it appears that it is like in her official capacity as the clerk of court, right? But she says that they're thinking about requiring all of the attendees to pre-order the book with a promise of a signed copy in order to attend the conference where she's going to speak about her duties during the trial officially as the clerk of court, which like she's already being paid for that, I would think that you're not supposed to be getting paid twice from that. Like if you're going to do this during your work hours or like as part of your job within your salary, it seems a little unethical to then be going and also selling your book at the same time or requiring that people pay an entrance fee basically. If they want to attend, they have to buy your book. That's crazy weird. But maybe it's allowed. Oh, and then she says, we need to come up with a price. She also tries to get someone, I think it might be this Michael DeWitt guy. I don't know, I shouldn't say that. I don't know if it's him. Somebody. She tries to get one of the connections that she's made to do some digging for her on her family's background and history, because she appears a little obsessed almost with trying to connect her family ties with that of these former, like older generations of the Murdaughs, like the bootlegging generation. She really wants to connect her family history to theirs. Like she's convinced they had some dealings, if you will. She appears to really want that to be the case anyway. I don't know if it is. I didn't see anything else about it. I just saw she really wanted to get to the bottom of it. She's also inviting her co-author to her personal Zoom meeting room or whatever they call it on several occasions that appear to be in the middle of the workday, presumably to discuss their book. She sends copies to others, to other journalists and stuff while she's at work to have them to go over the copies. She's constantly doing work on this book while at the office. Sending things about the book. If not about the book, then it's about the Murdaugh case, to all of these different media outlets. When they had a liaison for the media, so I'm not sure why they didn't just use that. Apparently Newman appointed a liaison to go between the court and the media for the trial, and yet here she is working her connections. She also, on several occasions, basically shuts down the courthouse. I mean, she tries to move around the court schedule in order to accommodate filming, right? So she tries to get all the hearings pushed off from certain days so that she can have film crews in there filming her and filming the courthouse. She also adds on a $1,000 fee For people that are planning on filming at the courthouse, she adds an extra, like a separate addendum for security, I guess, and requires a $1,000 fee. She says it's for 2 officers that are required by the county to do security at any filmings or any events at the courthouse, even if they're like, after hours, and that it's a requirement. Nobody can film there without that happening. And for some reason, in all the emails, it appears that it is always $1,000. So I'm not sure how she's working that out. She says it's $35 an hour for, I guess for each of them. And then I don't know, but that's always mentioned in these location agreements or in the emails that go with the location agreements. Then as early as November 2022, she says she's planning to write a book, and she also asked Michael DeWitt, I think it was Michael DeWitt. Anyway, she asks somebody who's writing a book if they can send her their publisher, because she's interested and she thinks that they would be interested in her book and it wouldn't impede on that author's books, because she's just going to be writing it from a behind the scenes in the courthouse perspective. She also sends a request to the attorney that was appointed by Newman to liaison between the court and the media during the trial, but she sends this to him after the trial, I think in April of 2023, asking him to look into the legal and ethical issues of her writing a book. And yeah, I mean, that's like way after she started the book process, but I guess she just wanted to like make certain. So she does that. During the trial, she also sends a letter to Honorable Justice Beatty, complaining about, basically she's complaining about being complained about, right? I think I will actually share this one with you because it's actually up on my screen right now, so I can do that pretty easily. Here we go. Hopefully you can see this. I wonder if I can move this. Okay, dear Honorable Justice Beatty, I come to you writing for support and explanation to my county finance and administration for the feeding and funding of 40 people in our courthouse for the Murdaugh trial. Oh, when was this sent? Okay, so this was sent February 7th. And there was an email before this that said that this was 1 week before she came down with the vid. And so she said like her state of mind wasn't great or whatever, but this was during the trial, right? Okay, so I received this email from our finance manager. At every turn, I have experienced questions on why I am doing things as a clerk of court. It's very petty, in my opinion, that I have to be questioned for things regarding trial expenses, for which I have a budget for. Yes, this apparently has been termed the trial of the century. It is being watched worldwide on television, YouTube, internet, podcasts, etc. We in Colleton County certainly did not ask for any of this. But here we are trying our best to do what is necessary and accommodate this small circle that is involved in the courtroom. We have a limited amount of time when Judge Newman says break, and we are adjourned for an hour and 15 minutes. I am responsible for feeding 18 jurors, 2 bailiffs who watch over the jury, Judge Newman, his wife, his law clerk, his law enforcement detail, my 3 staff in the courtroom, me, my 2 court reporters, a media attorney who is here requested by the judge, 4 law enforcement who are security in the courtroom, the defendant, and his 2 guards, courtroom administration staff who is here, and an IT specialist who has been contracted in for the trial. This kind of trial and its process is large and, quite frankly, a new experience for us on this scale. So that's odd that they're responsible for paying the jurors. I mean, maybe. I mean, for paying for the jurors' food every day, and also for paying for the court staff and the judge and all of that. Like, that doesn't happen in Travis County Court, I don't think. I mean, maybe every once in a while, but it's not like an everyday thing. Like every day of a trial, it's going to be catered. No, that doesn't happen. So if that's what she's talking about, that's weird. Maybe if she's just talking about, no, she says the feeding and funding of 40 people, which is odd. Okay, whatever. We'll just keep going. This kind of trial and its process is large and, quite frankly, a new experience for us on this scale. I think I said that already. I'm doing the best I know how in taking care and spending the taxpayer dollars in the use of my budget to the best of my knowledge. If someone else would like to come in and take over, they are welcome to. I will hand over the accounts, the whole trial, the decision-making process that comes with it, the complaints from the public, the media, my own county, whom I feel pretty unsupported by, many of my staff, and I will gladly sit back and take a back seat while someone with a much brighter mind takes the reins. We have been planning for this whole trial process for 4 months. I was even tasked with searching for a hotel in the event the attorneys and judge would sequester the jury. I went to each hotel in my county and talked with the management, looked at rooms, saw each room with my own eyes, smelled for cleanliness, and talked about pricing in case of sequestration. It came down to one hotel, the Microtel Inn, and their management was even willing to block the entire 67 rooms all of December and much of January until we found out 3 days before trial that there would be no sequestration. I don't think I'm saying that right. The manager of Microtel was extremely disappointed, of course, even though we talked all along about the process and the possibility of the sequestering not happening. However, we felt strongly all along that it would happen. Alas, it did not. The Microtel submitted a request to me for an amount to be paid to them for losing out on 6 weeks of rooms that could have been rented, that I need to submit to my county finance department and administration. It is an amount for one night's rent for all the rooms, which I feel is only right. But we can address that later. Currently, I'm disappointed that I have to deal with an explanation of 40 lunches for my courtroom personnel. What, lady? And one more thing, if I may. Judge Newman granted a motion yesterday and filed an order granting the evidence of other crimes of the defendant to be introduced into this trial. So that means our trial here will be extended to a further date. I'm going to be ordering lunches for quite a while longer. I'm reaching out for support and help in the current situation I find myself in. Please advise your loyal and ever-learning clerk in Colleton County. Oh, okay, because this was a meal that said, this was a message from somebody, Laura Hayes, it was from John Carpenter at Colleton County to Laura Hayes and Rebecca Hill, and it says, can you let me know why we are now getting 40 meals? My limited understanding is that we need to feed those who are not allowed to leave the courthouse, like the jurors, the alternates. Oh, okay, so they don't let their jurors leave the courthouse. That's crazy. The jurors, the alternates, the defendant, the judge. But I cannot come back to 40. Seems pretty reasonable to me. This is wild. Again, I don't know why she's in charge of sending out all the photos and videos or whatever. But on February 15th, and I don't know what day this trial ended, but I don't think it was over yet. It might have been. It might have just ended. I don't know. But I don't think it was over yet because she sends an email to Tiffany Smith at Court TV, and it says, hey, Tiffany, I have an Inside Edition reporter asking about the link for videos. Would this link for photos be the same for videos, or is there a separate one? Asking for this fella, ... Thank you. And then Tiffany says, they emailed me. I'll respond when there's a break. Thank you and feel better, ? So I guess that's when she had the vid. Okay, so I know what it was for. I guess it was the daily link. So the link for the pool of photographs, and Court TV, I think, might have been in charge of that. But for all of the photos that got downloaded, like after each day's testimony, they would take pictures of all the exhibits and then upload them so that all the media outlets could have photos and videos, I guess. Yeah, and the trial wasn't over because here on February 22nd, we have Sweet Jules Baking and Catering, Julie, writing to Becky saying, "Hey, Becky, I have attached the menu for the lunches on Tuesday. If you would have each person put their name or, in the case of the jury, a number on their order form, I can write it on the box in order for you to hand them out. Please let me know if you have any questions or special requests. Thank you so much. I am looking forward to hearing from you." So they were still going. Oh, look. And then we have this person named Brooke writing on February 21st regarding Campfire Studios, HBO Max, about the Murdaugh trial. Let's see. Brooke Brunson. "Good morning, Miss Hill." Okay, so she wrote it on the 21st. "I was briefly introduced to you by John Monk and Jason Ryan at the start of the Murdaugh trial. I had to return to Los Angeles, but will be in South Carolina early next week and hope to attend the conclusion of the trial. We produced the HBO Max and recently CNN docuseries on the Murdaugh family. I've noticed the gallery has become quite popular, and I wish to take any needed steps in advance to submit a request for a purple badge. I will be coming from Beaufort and hope to organize any needed documentation in advance. I've heard folks are arriving awfully early these days. Any information you could provide would be greatly appreciated. Brooke." That was sent on February 21st, and on February 21st, just a few minutes later, Becky Hill responds, "Hi, Brooke. Yes, I remember. I thought your docuseries was really good. The crowds have certainly grown. Unbelievable to me. I can have my security make you a badge starting next Monday, and it will be at the front with security for when you arrive. I've copied my main security on this email as well. Stay safe. Look forward to seeing you." So yeah, I mean, she was handing out badges to all kinds of media the whole time. And then just throughout this trial, she's reserving seats for people like this one on March 1st. "Good afternoon, Miss Hill. I would like to reserve 2 seats for March 2nd for Vicky Brown and Danielle Gerald. Thank you." She says you can either come to the family court door at 8:45 and get your badges to come back at 11, or come at 11 and come to the main door and we will fast track you through. "Hello again, Miss Hill. I would like to reserve 2 seats for Thursday this is on February 28th, for Danielle Gerald and Vicky Brown. Thank you." And then when's this one for? Oh, "I would like to reserve 2 seats for Wednesday, March 1st for Danielle Gerald and Amy Flanagan. Thank you." From Dee Dee Sutton. So she was just getting that person's seats the whole time. Okay, so she sends a message to Cindy Nettles at General Sessions Clerk, Colleton County Courthouse. She says, "Cindy, Polly is going to give you this bill. Please write a check to the lady whose name is listed as the car who got towed." We don't need to say her name. "In the amount of $286. The day this happened, her car got towed from Song's parking lot, and I'm hoping to get reimbursed for this happening. The lady I talked to is the friend of blank who is disabled. Her name is Tracy, and they were having a hard time parking and getting to courthouse. This could very easily be a bigger issue of a lawsuit, and thus I'm helping to pay her tow bill. And we'll talk to Mr. Wysong about what happened. Thanks, Rebecca." And then Cindy says, "The check is ready. What do I do with it?" And Becky says, "I have her cell number. I will either message Paul to let her know to come to GS or message her to come to GS." Seems odd. Okay. Then we have someone who is giving her gifts and other people at the courthouse gifts in exchange for what appears to be seats at the trial, which were supposed to be first come, first served. She says, "Hi, my new friend, Miss Becky. We loved meeting you last week. Thank you so much for everything. We might come again on Wednesday. We will see. If so, I will try to see you. Have a great week. Hi back to my new BFF. I'm so glad you will be back. Wednesday would be a great day for it. We have good witnesses. I look forward to see you and your sweet mom. We will have you a great seat. Anyway, then she says you have reserved seats, so that time is fine. This person comes back a few times. So she comes back again and she brings Miss Becky a t-shirt. Miss Becky says she loves it. And then she brings Miss Becky a like lavender, I don't know, pillow or something. A lavender sachet, is that how you say it? To stay calm. And then Miss Becky requests that she brings one for Miss Rhonda, who is a visiting clerk that's working in the courtroom with her. And of course, she's going to have these reserved seats again. And she's also going to bring one to Judge Newman. Very odd. You can't do that in Texas. Like, you aren't allowed to accept gifts, I don't think. So somebody sent her a message on March 2nd. It says, assuming the court was not aware of this. Some of these photos were taken in the courtroom and posted while court was in session on March 1st. Did not believe this sort of social media was acceptable nor appropriate for a double homicide trial. She writes back, Dear all, Mr. Bland was reprimanded after these photos. While they were taken during a break, which is acceptable, except I thought they weren't supposed to have any cameras or any cell phones or any kind of recording device in the courtroom at all, ever, which is acceptable. It is not good press. It is still not good press. And like I said, Mr. Bland was talked to. Thank you for sharing this with us. Kind regards. From Becky Hill. Okay, here's one on March 1st. Becky, long story, I'll explain later, but I had to drop my pig off in Charleston this morning and didn't get in town until noon. Oh, small towns. It may not be possible, and I hope I'm not overstepping my bounds by asking. If so, I apologize, but I would be forever grateful if there was any way you could help me get inside. I've been sitting with Bill Young for most of the trial, but didn't expect to have this much difficulty getting in today. I'm currently with the press corps at the Wildlife Center. In any event, I'm looking forward to seeing you tonight and admiring your daughter's talents. Regards, Trey Lindley. She writes back, Trey, come back over to the front door. I'm also messaging my security at the door. He says, Becky, what fun last night? So this is the next day. I had a blast and really enjoyed whiskey and wine. Thank you so much for having me. Would it be possible to let the folks at the front know I'm coming today? Should be a fascinating conclusion to the trial. Thank you. It was a blast, and I'm glad you came. I gave security your name at the door. Let's hope for swift and firm justice today. Yeesh. So she's definitely commenting on what she wants to happen with the jury. I wonder if she told that to the jury. I hope not. On March 1st, she's sending a message to somebody, and it appears that she is asking them, it says subject, juror, do you know this Jason Smith? Is she asking like one of her personal contacts if they know the juror? And why? Why? Please tell me why. I'm confused. I have questions. Someone needs answers. Okay, here we go. So on January 9th, she sent Julie Kate a message saying, I need to ask if there's any way possible for us to hold court for only one day, Tuesday next week. Court administration and IT are coming in on Monday, MLK holiday, and then needs to come in Wednesday and Thursday to finish setting up the courtroom with the new technology, i.e. monitors for state and defense table, witness, stand, judge, clerk's table, audio, wires, cords, audio system, etc. I know we have grand jury selection Tuesday morning, and if I could suggest having as much or as many pleas, motions, and hearings the rest of Tuesday and then finish for this term. Also, Court TV is hoping to come in on Thursday afternoon and all day Friday. After that, everything will be on go for Murdaugh. Please let me know if you think there will any kind of problem with this. If I need to talk to anyone else about this, I'll be glad to do so. Okay. That actually wasn't that crazy. But this one is. So this is to the Fitz News research, and it says it's regarding Mitchell Bridgers. So Fitz News research sent her an email first on January 7th that says, question, the sign mark producer swears, and I think the sign mark producer is the Mike, what is his name? Mike Gasparo, right? Swears that Mitchell Bridgers is involved in Stephen Smith's death. He's currently in jail on 4 counts of larceny and burglary with an $85,000 bond set. I was wondering if you might be willing to send over the indictments and paperwork from the bond hearing so I can look at it. If not, no worries. Just seems like a high bond, but I have a feeling they set it that high for a reason. She responds back, OMG, exclamation mark, exclamation mark. Yes, I will get those to you. We definitely know it as a group. And then little v, period, 1, that night, and so totally unfair and horribly wrong. I have no idea what she was saying, but clearly she's talking about, like, why is she involved in this? Why is she involved in that? That doesn't seem like that's her business, really. It's definitely not the business of the court. Well, I guess it was on Saturday, so there's that. But still, she's using her county email address and her county access to get these documents for Fitz News. I mean, not Fitz News' fault, like whatever. They're a news organization. It is their business. It's not her business, though. This is a text or like an email chain with Arthur Cerf, who is apparently a French journalist who was writing a book on the Murdaugh case, right? And he says, hello, Rebecca. I was wondering if you had any recommendations of people who have known the Murdaughs personally and with whom I should talk to for the book. Also, would you have other documents that could be useful for me to dive deep into this case? She says the next hearing in the Murdaugh case will be held this Friday in Colleton County Courthouse at 2 p.m. The defendant will be present. Also, I've attached the latest filing in the case. He says, I hope you're doing well. He says when he's going to be in town. He says, would you have time to meet? Would be a great pleasure and also interesting for me to understand how this trial is affecting life in Hampton County. She says, absolutely, I'd love to meet with you. I do believe the trial will take longer than anticipated than the aforementioned February 10th. Where are y'all staying? I have some great rentals located on the clerk of court's website. She also told him earlier that they all have availability. And then who's this one from? Oh, Arthur Cerf again. She says on November 21st, 2022, I think your book idea is great. Now is the time. I am also interested in writing a book. I have lived among the Murdaughs and worked with them and am kind of the feet on the ground, so to speak. If you're interested in a partnership, let me know. This is before the trial. Before the trial. She's trying to partner with an author so she can be the boots on the ground for his book. I mean, that's just crazy to me. Maybe ethically there's nothing wrong with it, but it's just like a very slippery slope to me. And also then the sending out of all the documents and everything just seems odd. Odd. Anyway, so we'll go through more of these. Sorry if they were slow. I'm going to review this one like after I'm done recording, and I will get better at the coming videos. I might do them again on a live stream, but I feel like I do them better just recording them. Then I can like kind of edit and stuff. Anyway, stick with me and we will do a part 3 coming at you very, very soon. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit the like and share this if you know anybody who is obsessed with the Murdaugh case. Okay, bye.